Kim karma kim karmeti kavayopyatra mohita tathe karma pravakshami yajñatva mokshaseshva. What karma is, what karma is not. Even the sages are confused. I will speak about that karma, and by knowing which, you will be freed from all inauspiciousness. Today is Mother's Day. And we just heard a beautiful song recorded, which was sung by Pravrajika Varada Prana. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matrurupena Samstita. Repeated salutations to thee, O Goddess who reside in all beings as Mother. It's a wonderful day. We also, this month, will be celebrating 2 birthdays, 2 of the greatest men that were ever born. One was Bhagavan Buddha, and the other is Bhagavan Sri Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya's birthday will be celebrated on the 17th of this month, and Buddha's is on the 26th. Shankaracharya, what we see of Hinduism and Vedanta is his creation today. He dived deep into all the aspects of karma in all its ramifications. And with his brilliant intellect, his logic, and with the help of scriptures, established these doctrines of karma, which we are still trying to understand its depth. But he showed the way out of karma to what is called moksha. Bhagavan Buddha, if you noticed our thumbnail, was, as Swami Vivekananda said, the greatest man that ever lived. On the strength of this doctrine of karma, he established his religion of Buddhism. And he found it adequate to explain everything through this doctrine. And he also dispensed God and soul as unnecessary. People say he's an atheist. He wasn't an atheist. So, these 2 great personages who spoke on karma, I will, in a brief compass, try to present to you their salient thoughts. It will be presumptuous of me to state that I'm going to state everything about karma. It's impossible. One of the first things that you must understand that these laws were not formulated by a group of people or philosophers sitting down and debating and establishing, okay, this is the law. No. This was intuited by the rishis, the Vedic rishis. And the first part of the Vedas is called Karma Kanda. So these laws were revealed to them They were rediscoverers of these laws. So these laws were pre-existing. It's like the law of gravitation, as Swami Vivekananda says. They pre-existed. They were only discovered. And then we applied those laws to a practical field. And then comes Einstein. I say, he gives us a higher dimension of those laws of gravity. And this is how we travel from the lowest to the highest. And in the future, you might have another great sage who comes with another higher idea of karma. We keep ourselves open to that also. So we should not think that, okay, this is what it is. No. As you reap, you will reap what you sow. And every action is an opposite and equal reaction. We hear this. But in Hinduism, they have taken it to the ultimate limit. They stretched it and they applied it everywhere, to all aspects of life. That was the difference. It was not just now a moral maxim or a kind of a scientific, what we see out in the world. No. That was applied all through. So this doctrine, the philosophy of karma, is one of the greatest contributions to the world by Hinduism. Apart from the Atman and Brahman and yoga and time and space and Ishvara and Maya, karma is that. Sometimes there comes a word which describes reality in its totality. Take, for instance, once again to come to Einstein's E is equal to mc square. This small equation explains the vastness of this universe and almost all phenomena. Similarly, this word karma also explains everything. Everything? Almost everything. Like E is equal to mc square also explains many things, but not everything. But it took a lot of time for its verifications. So even when you know the word karma, karma, yeah. It will need verification and then its practicalization. The whole of Hinduism actually is nothing but an elaboration of this word karma. It covers everything. Life, death, joy, sorrow, all the differences, personality, character, love, hate, good, bad, evil, birth, rebirth, what we call as samsara. It explains grace and miracles and God and soul. What else? It explains everything. Hold on to your seat belts as we travel down through some of these salient points. There is, the Bhagavad Gita says, Nahi kaschit chanam api chatu tishtati karma krit. There is no person who can stay even for a moment without work. So everything is working. Everything is in constant motion. Everything acts and reacts. Everything. So we have this whole, you can say, doctrine now centered on what we see and what we can infer through what we see. Take away the doctrine of karma from Hinduism, and nothing is left. Absolutely nothing. Put in the doctrines of karma, and you get everything. I've heard so many people, great scholars, even in big universities, there's no philosophy in India. Yeah. And there are so many people who have written about Indian philosophy and saying, this is nothing. Well, they have not even understood a bit of the basic, you can say, fact of Hinduism, that is karma. The whole thing stands on this very idea. And books have been written, oh my God, so many things. I have come only across a few books that really understand this doctrine and try to see everything through this angle. And this is the test. This is the test thrown to everyone by karma. To all religions, you apply the laws of karma to your religion and see if your religion stands. It throws a challenge to all scientists. Apply the laws of cause and effect perfectly, and you will fine-tune your own physical laws. It throws a challenge to all policy or lawmakers also. Understand karma so that you can formulate better laws to protect society and the environment and people. It throws a challenge to all individuals. You get what you have worked for. Don't place the blame on anybody or anything. So these are some of these challenges. It is something that we need to grapple with. These laws are tremendous and powerful. So when you apply these laws of karma to even spirituality, even to all forms of spiritual practices, you will not come under some deluded idea of religion. It's not going to be comfortable, of course, and religion is not a comfortable thing. It makes you face your own, you can say, inadequacies. It also gives you tremendous strength. Yes, I can hew my way through all these difficulties. And this is what the laws of karma are. When you look around, you see everything is so full of injustice, full of chaos. My God. And you wonder, is there a God? What is she doing? Well, by the way, God is mother. If anybody had any doubts about it. What's she doing about it? See, there's so much of injustice, so much of chaos, so much of dissension. Everywhere there are problems. Well, actually it is karma that brings order to chaos. And about injustice, yes, because we have been doing things, there is sadness and there is evil, there is hate and there is crime. If we could have understood these laws, we would have stopped doing things that were irrational, that will affect people. We do not know the consequences of what we do. And then we weep and sing, oh, blame God. Oh, this is the world like that. And then we ask, this is how the world operates. This is not the way the world operates. We will be controlled in our thoughts, in our words, and in our deeds once we understand the consequences of our own words and thoughts and deeds, how they affect oneself and how they affect the world. Yes. So this is one of the first challenges that we need to. Don't blame the world. You have paved the way for your present situation through things you have thought or you have done somewhere in the past. The problems of evil has been grand, really grand, and religions have been, you can say, wrestling with this. What should you do with this evil? The easy way out is work your way out through this evil. The difficult way out is blame someone else. Don't question. Blame someone else. Blame the devil. Blame someone. Blame him. Keep on blaming. That's the blame game. And that's why Buddha is saying, stand on your own feet. You are the creator of your own destiny. This is what people today want to hear, because the rise of agnosticism and atheism, all these things are cutting away at these puerile doctrines of religion. This is where you have an intellectual honesty. You're, like Swami, you can say, brave to suffer and brave to do, and in the long run attain to absolute freedom. It will make you heroic instead of weeping in the corner and sitting down and talking nonsense. So we make our own hells and we make our own heavens through our own karma. Like Swamiji says, it's only the weak that do evil. The morally strong don't do that. And karma can make you morally strong. Of course, there's a nice way of just trying to escape it, but escapism is not the way. There was the doctrine by an ancient sect in India called Ajivikas. They say that everything is dictated by something called niyati, destiny. Everything has been pre-thought out and pre-worked out. Oh, you've got to just keep quiet and suffer. Everything works according to something that has already been put into place. Thankfully, many enlightened, you can say, philosophers quelled that kind of defeatist doctrines of the Ajivikas, and they pushed forward something what is called Purushakara, self-effort. You can't escape these prison house laws of cause and effect, the strict laws of cause and effect. The very idea of a free will was nothing but trying to get away from those crystallized doctrines of you're born a sinner, you're going to die a sinner, or you're born good and you're going to die good and you're going to heaven, and all your life is dictated by the will of God. Please, there are those who are there that get away from these doctrines. We have a will. It's not free. It's bound by karma, but you can become free through the exercise of your will. They don't see the other side of free will, those who propound free will. The idea of responsibility. You do something, you are responsible. Now there's nothing. And thankfully, these old ideas of responsibility and sacrifice are coming back, which is a good thing. So these are ideas also pertaining to the laws of karma. I am the resultant of all that I have said and done and thought in the past. I'm evolving certain karma So that there's an evolution and there's always an involution. The tree is nothing but an evolution of the seed. So involution and evolution. So everything that we do gets involved, goes down in us, and then it emerges out. So this whole life and death and everything is nothing but an evolution and involution. Buddha had called it pratitya samutpada. Even all forces of matter conform to these laws of cause and effect. One thing transforms into other. No thought or word or deed has ever gone wasted. It lies there hidden within you, and then it emerges out. So on this principle, you can get anything and everything. Devotion, bhakti, or knowledge is also nothing but karma. Every form of activity, every spiritual discipline, secular or spiritual or whatever, is nothing but an evolution of a previous thought. The whole thing is bound by this evolution and involution. It is how you evolve some of those old thoughts that you have. You push this karma a little further around. There is something called samsara, reincarnation. Yeah. What's this? Karma has the power even over death and birth. Well, you're born, and then you die, and then you're reborn. On this doctrine of rebirth, reincarnation, samsara, hangs everything that is accounted for. You can't get away from certain things that you have done. You'll have to work it out. And where do these impressions reside? I do something, and I get a result of that. But the impressions of what I've done reside in me. The Bhagavad Gita says, Bahunam janmanam ante. After many, many births, Jnanavan mam prapadyate. The person of knowledge attains me. So this is an old doctrine, an ancient doctrine. It's not something new. So karma has the power over nature, it has power over life, it has power over death. In fact, life and death are manifestations of karma. We exit this life with karma, we come back also with karma. This explains all the diversity, all the supposedly inequality in mind and bodies and spirits, in everything. We don't need to put a blame on someone else. Why is there so much of diversity or differences? Well, on a very deeper level, we are all equal. But on the surface, everything is different. Our features, though we have the same faces, are all different. This body is made out of a large storehouse of karma called sanchita. And from that large storehouse, when a part of it has been taken to form your body and mind, it becomes prarabdha karma. I will present to you some of these ideas of karma aphoristically. It is hoped that you will try to delve into this, research it, and come up with your own solutions. All actions, physical and mental, is karma. As I had mentioned, nahi kaschit chanamapi, there is no one who is without work. There is, of course, 3 types of work. The sattvic work, the rajasika work, and the tamasika work. That is clearly defined in Swami Vivekananda's Karma Yoga as well as in the Bhagavad Gita. Karma is a special power given to each and every person that has to be utilized. It's not just a special power, it's a very powerful tool also. Because it's only here on the human level that we can create karma. That's why this world, this level of existence, this plane of existence is called karma bhumi, the plane of karma. In the other planes, there is only an attenuation or an enjoyment of pleasure and pain. In the lower kingdoms, there is no fresh creation of karma. It's only working out some of the karma. Even in the higher planes, you just enjoy some of those, the fruits of the good karma that you have done. Knowing how to work, the skill in karma is called karma yoga. One has to be extremely cautious, extremely. And it is right that Sri Ramakrishna says karma yoga is very difficult. And he has given various examples of how. Just to emphasize that we need to be extremely careful in this world and in this life. So everything is created from karma. Everything that has movement is a creation. We must not think just because human beings are the result of karma, everything else is dead and insentient. No. There is the whole world, the whole universe is movement. Everything is vibrating. And the external and internal world, they synchronize perfectly to give us the results, the particular results that we are supposed to have it. No karma dies without its fructification. No karma. So there are some karmas that are like Swami Vivekananda gives the example of a wave. A wave is made of tiny waves, wavelets, if that is good. So each action that comes out is a cumulative of some of the smaller karmas that we have done. And it comes out in a huge wave. It leaves a mark. It's called a samskara. And these samskaras, when they are crystallized, become something called vasanas. They reside in the subconscious mind. So there is something called conscious work. There is something called subconscious work. We work our bodies subconsciously. We digest the food subconsciously. All conscious actions, they go down and become subconscious. And they are sufficiently strong to work beneath those conscious levels. And it is those conscious levels that actually are impelled by these subconscious forces. They are forces. They don't sit down and lie down without any activity. They are very active, the subconscious mind. Karma is what is called, we get a lottery ticket and we win a prize and luck. There is no such thing as luck or fate or destiny which is not in your hands. You have worked for it. There is no such thing as chance. That's what. So each person's mind and body, as I mentioned, is unique, and this uniqueness is due to karma. It is our identity. Every talent that we see around us, and there is no human being without anything that is called talent. Everyone is equipped with some unique feature of this universe. It's amazing. We tend to be dismissive about people, oh, they are useless. No, they also have something that they have worked for. That uniqueness is, the talent is karma. When we have this idea that, yes, we need to work, and work done in a proper spirit, it is the attitude, the thought behind the karma that is important. People judge you on your external, you can say, activities, or what you do. People don't see the motive. The motive in karma is important, and that is the guiding principle in karma. I always talk about the karma is a kind of a vibration. When you do something, you are bringing yourself into a particular state of mind, and you will attract those types of people only to you. No need of blaming it. Your very mind has made those conditions appropriate for you to interact with those types of people, those vibrations. When a karma leaves one, it, as it were, circuits the universe and comes back to you. That impression which is in the mind brings, or you can say attracts, that power that you have released from yourself. It goes out and comes back to you. How? Yes. That is the uniqueness, that's the power of karma. Well, if we are dualist, we will say, yeah, God sees your heart and then He will give you what you have prayed for, what you have done. But the law of karma, in its, you can say, aspects of, without bringing ideas of dualistic philosophy, that law of karma is sufficient to explain how you are attracting what you have done. And in the interim period, when you set in motion a karma, it circuits and comes back to you, and all the vibrations in the universe get attached to it. If you do a good deed, you will find that the result of that good deed even more stronger. You've done a little, but you get a lot. So similarly, if we do an evil deed, we become evil. You can see that. And you do one karma, you do it the second time, you do it the third time, and you're caught. So the power of karma is either strengthened or weakened according to the vibrations around. And I always talk about karma is always samashti and vyashti. That is, samashti is that universal and vyashti is individual. We don't realize that we are leaving a carbon footprint, huge carbon footprint. Wherever we go, we leave a trail of garbage and trash. Can you see that? Well, no, you can't. But that's exactly what we do with our thoughts and words and deeds. We are leaving a trail. And people are leaving all these trails here. So that comes back to us. Like that nice plastic bag we threw out, it's come back to us as microplastics. And now we got to eat that. You can't escape. The world gives it back to you in spades, as they say. Sarvaramba hidoshena dhumena agnirivavrita. All work is attended with defects. Yes. We do not know even my good thought or good deed has harmed somebody. There is, of course, a proportion. Like fire, always attended with smoke, associated with smoke. So all actions are both good as well as bad. So you do something good, but it hurts or harms somebody, and you don't know the consequences. So this will give us an idea of to be very careful in what we do. We kind of bumble about and not try to understand certain things. But this is important, that this world is a mixture of good and bad. You are a mixture of good and bad. Karma is a mixture of good and bad. There's karma also depends on something called swadharma. That's why he's saying the wheel of dharma that Buddha set in motion is also the wheel of karma. So one's own karma, one's family karma, one's racial karma, rather social karma, or national karma, or karma as a human being. All these are like concentric circles intersecting. We are setting in motion a ripple, and we don't know that ripple effect, how it's kind of running around this world. So all these concentric circles reach out, and then they reach in. As Swami Vivekananda says, the pravritti and nivritti, saying we have a tremendous power. We drag all the forces of the universe to us, fuse them within us, and release them in this world. This is swadharma. Karma, as I mentioned, is greater than birth and greater than death. Hold on to karma. There is no fear of birth or death. There is something called prayaschitta karma. One karma can be countered by another set of karma, which is very important. It's not a prison house of, you can say, laws of, you can say, you're imprisoned by those laws. You do something and you're done for. You're done for, but until and unless you don't counter those things. So even Holy Mother says that where you're supposed to get a wound with a plowshare, with as wide as a plowshare, you get a pinprick, as it were. Those karmas have been attenuated by japa and meditation. So one karma can be countered by another karma. Shastriya karma. There's puja, etc. All these things are karmas that are prescribed by the scriptures, shastras. Every karma, when it is selfish, becomes weak. And when it is unselfishly done, it becomes very powerful. This also has to be kind of kept in mind. Those three gunas of karma. Yes, karma will form your body in one way, and your mind also, and your senses. And according to whether you're a sattvic person or a rajasic or a tamasic person, you will do those particular karmas. Your very nature will not let you do something else. It is the recorder of everything that we have done. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, Name partasya kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana. I have no duty whatsoever, O Partha, in all the three worlds. Nana vaptam avaptavyam varta eva sakarmani. I have nothing that is unattained or to be attained. but I keep on working. This is the way we keep on working. Why? Because the Lord Himself, herself, is working. Everything is enlivened. The whole philosophy and the whole dynamics of karma are kept alive because God works. Utsi deyuru me loka nakuryat karma chedaham. If I stop working, this whole universe will be torn into shreds. There will be an admixture of all the species and orders of life. So it is God who is the ultimate author of karma. You can attain God through karma. Karma is always mistaken for grace, even soul, God also, miracles of course. Karma is sometimes called a sakshi or the antaryami. Sakshi is the witness. Antaryami is the inner controller. All these concepts, these are mighty concepts, but they have become kind of a joke nowadays because we are not seeing it through the lens of karma. If you can, then you will really understand what is grace, what is the soul. People mistake the soul for those powers of the karma. Even God, nature. So this is the ultimate secret. And God is also called karma phaladata. The giver of the fruits of your actions. As I mentioned, dualism puts forward this concept. There is a great debate that was raging. There was a great debate in the court of King Janaka. And Yajnavalkya was questioned. And when it came to a certain point, Yajnavalkya says, let's step outside this assembly and we'll discuss it between ourselves. He and another sage. And they step outside the assembly and the Upanishad takes up the topics. And they return. And what did they discuss? They discuss only karma. The secrets and the nature of karma. So here we have, you can understand you can understand God and you can attain God through karma. Don't try to sidestep. There are people who preach the sidestepping of karma. Well, you might get it in big trouble. Why does God not listen to our prayers? I prayed for this and I got that. So here we stand. We are the result of an infinite past that has been tacked upon me and you and everyone. You are at this very moment. Hinduism is not a faith-based religion or a belief-based religion. It's a karma-based religion. Once you can understand that, you don't need to have faith. Have faith in yourself first. In the faith that what you do, what you say, and what you think. You have the whole universe in the palm of your hands if you can do it perfectly. This has been given to us. So long, you can say, deliberations by these great sages like Buddha and Shankaracharya has given us a certain insight into these doctrines. It's a mighty doctrine, much neglected. Neglected more in India because India bought out these wonderful doctrines and we are the ones who never applied it correctly. The time is ripe for the world to apply these doctrines of karma. And that will bring a better life for all of us, a better world, and everything will be kind of good. I'll end up with Yata pravritti bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. A human being achieves success by adoring through one's actions God, who is the originator of all creatures and by whom all this is pervaded. Swakarmanatam. You worship God through your own karma. This is the way. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. We have these announcements. Next Sunday, 16th, May 16th, Unselfishness is God. Pravrajika, Seva Prana. Tuesdays, 4:30 p.m., Swami Sarvadevananda, Narada Way of Divine Love, as well as 7:30 p.m., Shanti Gita. Wednesdays, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, reading. Thursdays, Bhagavad Gita. Fridays, Living Wisdom of Swami Abhedananda. Saturdays, meditation classes, meditation skill for meditators. Chanting classes on Saturdays at 2:30 p.m. Sundays, Sanskrit classes at from 9 to 10:30 a.m. Yeah.
There are, as could be expected, a number of questions. The first, Maharaj, because of my actions, my intellect has turned against me. I am trying to improve, and I face this resistance in my mind. I have become morally deaf. Please guide me. Sharanagati.
If your past has made what you are now, your future can be made according to what you do today. The doctrine of karma is don't mope about what has happened, take some corrective measures. Instead of blaming yourself or blaming others, do something which will really improve yourself, improve the future. So, Sharanagata, you surrender to your own higher self. The Atman inside has all power. So we recommend you start from today, not today, start from right now. A thought comes which is inimical to you, push it away and bring a good thought. You do it 2 times, 10 times, 20 times, and the power will start building up slowly. You see the results coming in. Don't blame anything. Become heroic in your karma.
Next question from Kumara. Swamiji, how do you reconcile the theory of karma and divine grace? This idea of divine grace, is it only for bhakti yogis?
Well, Sri Ramakrishna has cleared this idea of karma, self-effort, and divine grace. He gives us the example, the breeze of God is always blowing. You have to unfurl the sails. So this unfurling of the sails is karma. Well, do it. If you don't do anything and say, the breeze of grace will blow me down, well, you need to do something. And when you do something, you see, I had spoken about character. Your character, your personality is built on karma. Today is Mother's Day. You think the mothers do everything for the children? When they grow up a little, they make them independent. They make them stand on their own feet. God also does likewise. And of course, you know what it is.
Vinaki asks, can we compare karma with gravitational forces? We cannot escape gravity while we are on the earth.
Well, that's pushing things a little too far. Maybe you can think of the correlations of gravity and karma. I gave the examples of gravity because, like I said, the laws of gravity, one law of gravity was, you can say, subsumed with a higher idea of laws of gravity. And besides, there is no such thing as gravity. Gravity is a force. It's something that is felt because the earth is, any heavy object is falling and falling and falling and falling and falling. And where is falling? In this time and space that's curved. And this whole idea is that gravity. They are searching for this graviton, etc., etc. It is one of the fundamental forces, but if you start studying what's gravity, you won't find anything in this gravity. It's just falling, falling, falling. Yeah.
Pervez asks, I accept karma theory as a law for our daily actions and results. But did the philosophers overzealously stretch it to invent the concept of reincarnation as an explanation for chaos in the world?
No, they never stretched it out a bit. If you accept the principles or the theory, as you said, the principles of karma, I want you to apply that in its entire extent. In fact, the scriptures have not entirely stretched it and put it everywhere. They have left room for the maker of karma. Okay? So let this be a kind of your intellectual, your spiritual exercise. Apply this. If it is applicable in one department of your life, see how things apply to other. Because, as I mentioned, birth and death are manifestations itself of karma. And as you keep on understanding this laws, then you see how many things stand explained. Otherwise, you'll have to bring in the cruel fiat of a God who makes somebody rich, who makes somebody poor, who makes somebody lame, who makes somebody blind, who makes somebody an Olympic athlete, who makes somebody a dullard. So this laws of karma gives an idea that we have made ourselves, and we can unmake what the mistakes that we done. So apply these laws. So they have not stretched it. They are, in fact, they've done it in a much kinder way for all of us. Yes.
Pinaki asks for the definition of good and bad karma.
What affects a lot of people in a positive way is good. Vyasa was asked, he said, the same question of what is good and bad, karma, of course. Sarva Shastra Puraneshu Vyasasya Vachanan Paropakara Punyaya. That which helps others is good karma. That which harms others is bad karma. Take that as a standard. And bad in the sense, it affects not only human beings, but the environment. If you are careful not to harm people and living beings and environment, what you're doing is good.
Madhumita asks, Maharaj, a question from meditation class. I do my work diligently with utmost concentration. Is this not meditation? What more than concentration on an object should be part of my meditation?
Oh, Madhumita, you asked this question yesterday, and we kind of shut the stream before your question actually came in. So I checked it up later and found. But this is the topic on karma. You should have asked something on karma. However, you can concentrate on a stream of ideas. That is also called concentration. In yogic concentration, what we are teaching is concentration on one object over and over and over. When you are studying, what you are doing, you are tied down in a kind of a chain of ideas, like cause and effect and cause and effect. You are absorbed in that chain, leaving off other chains of thoughts. So you think, oh yeah, I'm concentrating. There's a difference between a chess player, concentration of a chess player, which is admirable, of course, and the concentration of a yogi. That's completely different. You get knowledge from external concentration. You get even deeper concentration, knowledge, through concentration on an object. So when you are studying, put your whole mind and the senses and your body into it and study. You are studying a sequence of ideas. And you are doing good karma. Keep on doing it.
Hemant asks, is there something like collective karma of the whole world, or a country, or a society?
Yes, there is. I did not want to go into it because those ideas will take us out of a comfort zone. But we act and react on each other. So my mind is in the state of action and reaction. So I had spoken a little as karma is individual and collective. So when the collective karma of a place or a society or a nation arises, it will fructify. Yes, there is called the samashti karma. So there is the karma of a nation, of a society, of a people.
Lizzie asks, what is God's role in karma?
Well, for one, he kind of puts a mirror in front of you. So you smile and the mirror smiles, and you frown and the mirror frowns. Well, that is one way of looking at what is God's way. God has to be omniscient, because when you do something, even without anyone else knowing, secretly, you have said or done something which no one knows, but only you. Well, God knows. Why? Because that karma comes back to you. So it means God is omniscient. It's like you trace the spider through its web. So you trace that web, all the lines, and slowly reach that spider. It is God that has thrown this web out, and we are caught in it. So that is the role of God. And as I mentioned towards the end, that if God does not work, this whole universe will die. So that is God's role. Keeps everything alive. So all karma is attributed to Him in the ultimate analysis.
Anuradha asks, the idea of the divine feminine has never been recognized by many religions, and women have been relegated to an inferior status. Are there any karmic consequences of this?
Oh, yes, Anuradha. But let me kind of present to you an observation. These old, ancient goddesses that were worshipped for thousands and thousands of years are slowly making a revival. Well, and what happens is, humankind was the worshipper of nature, and the goddesses played a very important part in this worship. All the troubles began when we discarded those, you can say, feminine, the divine feminine. So this divine feminine is now making itself slowly felt. How? Well, today now we have people talking about equality. Nobody likes now sexism or racism and all this kind of discrimination that's going on there. So women are getting more, they are fighting for equal pay. These are all good things. Why should they be considered inferior? I agree with you. So those old goddesses are kind of, in a way, inspiring people to renew themselves in a more equitable, you can say, society. If you see, it is the mother in all species that is responsible principally for the survival of a species. It's not only the survival of the species, but also culture. Say that it takes a village to raise a child. That was in the old days, and of course true also nowadays. So the role of a mother which was relegated to the household has to be made central. That mother, or the woman, we generally look at her as a kind of an object to be exploited, to be used. That's because that mother is looked upon just as a woman. Swamiji says The ideal should always be the woman as a mother, not woman as a wife. Now it's become like the women themselves need to awaken to their own inherent idea of a woman. They will not go and let them get exploited for a few bucks. So these changes will have to come in the women's mind. So those changes then will be translated into society. And in today's world, we know that Shri Ramakrishna says Holy Mother was left behind by him to demonstrate the motherhood of God. God is mother, and this is the motherhood of God. And Shri Ramakrishna also says that the woman is, you can say, image of the Divine Mother. So once the women themselves understand their own importance, spiritual importance, everything will be changing. So don't worry about the karma. Yeah, it was bad, and we can make it good.
Piyush asks, young people are facing death due to the pandemic in India. Is it related to past karma?
It is your own karma that you now took care of. You went on spreading things up. When you call, in India it's called Mahamari, great death. Don't you understand the implications of this great death? That it kills. And people in India have been going for these rallies and the melas and these elections and this. Who's to be blamed? Don't blame anyone. Don't even blame the virus. The virus is just trying to survive. Yes, it's trying to desperately get someone and replicate itself. So we have to blame ourselves for not being careful, for not putting those protocols in place. It's as simple as that. So, this is the world. And so remember that word, great death. In Europe, it was like that. We are having it a kind of, it's nothing. More than half of the population of Europe was simply wiped out. Can you understand? More than half of the population of Europe was simply wiped out by this plague? And not only once, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. It has always been there in human societies. It is time that we start taking these things seriously.
Swarnendu asks, sometimes we end up doing bad karmas even after knowing that it's wrong because of strong negative samskaras in our mind. Will we be held guilty in that case?
Oh, yes. No doubt. You do something and then you say, am I guilty? You kill somebody or something and say, am I guilty? No. There are people, of course, they are killers and then they plead, not guilty. Imagine. Why? But like I said, if you have done something wrong because of your past karma or your past impulsion, you can rectify them. The law of karma is a law of freedom, not of bondage. Get this thing, drive this thing in your head. It's a law of freedom. You can free yourself from those deeds, thoughts that you have done. Yes.
That looks like the end of the questions.
I have 2 questions. Would you like me to ask you after the lecture?
Yeah. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.